What's up, everybody? Welcome to 3D Rivals, your first line of defense against stupid movies. My name is DJ, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, my sister Devin,
What's up?
and my brother Derek.
What's up?
And tonight we're going to discuss The Flash, the newest DC movie to hit theaters in a very busy month for movies.
I know. I'm tired of going to the
You're
movies.
tired of going to the movies. But yeah, so we're going to talk about The Flash, and does it live up? We'll kind of do a non-spoilerly, I can't say it.
Ooh, were any of those things words?
No.
Absolutely they were.
Oh, okay.
Spoiler.
We won't spoil things at first, and then we'll get into the details, the nitty-gritty of the movie later on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So first, I'll have to say, just as a general for everyone maybe listening that wants to see the movie or thinking of, I don't hate it. It's not the worst movie in the world.
Yes.
Yes.
It is. I came out of there like, oh, it was better than I thought it was going to be because I went in with very low expectations.
I think that's what it was. I was thinking about this the other day. I'm like, your expectations really has a huge impact because I'm like, I didn't like. I wanted the movie to be good, but like, you know, DC has a very low bar, so
Yeah.
I didn't really expect much out of it, and I think it exceeded my expectations.
Indeed.
Yeah. I would say, was that the same feeling that we had like with Guardians of the Galaxy? Like with so many bad movies before, so it was just like
No, I comparing this to Devin, you can stay out of this conversation. Comparing this to Guardians of the Galaxy, I like Guardians of the Galaxy.
I did too.
Yeah, so no.
Okay.
And I not saying that I dislike this movie, but I definitely put Guardians of the Galaxy on a higher pedestal than this. Actually,
Okay.
It's been a while since I've seen it. I actually have a high regard for Guardians of the Galaxy. Is it top MCU? No, but I think it's a very good movie, and I like it.
Okay. I would agree with you on that.
Okay. You guys are wrong.
I've seen it twice now, and I think it's been good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think as far as MCU movies go, that is a pretty good MCU movie. It's definitely
Yes.
a lot better because the MCU has some really top tier movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't like any of the
You're
Guardians
right.
movies,
You're right.
so you can stop making your little
And-
faces, Devin.
And you were like the minority with that.
No, they're not good movies.
You don't like space operas.
First of all, who likes a space opera?
A lot of
Man,
people.
Star Wars is like
Hence,
the
that's
most
why Star
popular-
Wars is popular.
No, and
franchise.
after you made me watch that Star Wars movie, I was like, nope, I'm not tripping. This isn't good.
Which one?
The first one.
A New Hope.
Oh, what?
See, you already forgot we watched it.
I didn't forget we watched it.
Can't be that great.
Whatever.
Yeah.
New Hope was good.
Yeah.
No,
So
it
I would
wasn't.
agree with you with Flash that yeah, it exceeded my expectations.
Yeah. So let's see. What are some good? What are some bad? I'll point out a little bit of bad, or maybe mid. CGI is both bad,
Man.
bad.
There's no mid.
They're okay. It's overall bad.
Okay.
There
Yeah.
are some sequences that I was like, oh, I think that was pretty cool.
What sequence was that?
Like when he first ran, not his running. His running's horrible.
Did they make him run like that on purpose?
I don't know.
Oh
It's
my
a stylistic choice.
Either they made him run like that on purpose or he never ran before in his life.
But I thought it was really cool how they kind of showed like him the speed, like how everything stretched out at first, and I thought that was really cool.
Okay, I'll give you that. That was the
Okay.
part that I thought was okay. But every other CGI and visual to me was just bad. It was real plastic looking, like,
Mhm.
and then it's just DC. Like every single one of their action scenes is just all CGI. Just I'm
And
like,
eh,
you can tell that it's in front of a green screen?
just every little bit of it. I'm just like, can we not do anything practical?
Yeah.
Because it looks, especially when your CGI is going to be that bad, you might want to use less of it.
Maybe this movie was in production for a long time. Like
It's been on hold because, you know, DC
you couldn't have gotten better CGI.
I mean, they could have went back and said, hey. But
While the CGI in it was bad, but they're claiming it was a stylistic choice. I do
I have
think
heard
it
that,
was.
Warner.
I do think it was interesting how they showed him in the Speed Force. putting the CGI of it aside, I think that was an interesting kind of look with
Now,
like everything surrounding him.
I didn't like it.
You know, like that.
Like him running, I thought was fine, but when he's in the little, is it called the Speed Force?
Yes.
Where he's like when he was talking to the different peoples and whatnot, and you can see the universes and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Speed
I did not
Force.
like how that looked.
No. Okay.
It to me was real messy looking.
I can see that. I can see that. Okay. All right. I thought it was an interesting style choice.
Oh gosh.
The CGI was bad in it, and apparently they're saying it's on purpose, but okay.
No, I'm not. That's just you trying to cover.
Yeah. Okay. Story. As far as an adaptation of the Flashpoint story, I think, like, obviously it's not, exact.
Yeah.
But I think it
And
had
you
an
don't expect
interesting
it to be.
take, and I think the story. I mean, as far as things go with this movie, I think the story was interesting.
I agree. I think they
Yeah.
grabbed the main points from the Flashpoint comic
Yeah.
and covered those well. To me, this movie didn't have a plot problem.
No.
No.
The problem was everything else.
You know what? That actually might be another. We were talking about other reasons why we like hate certain movies, and some movies would come out like, oh, that wasn't bad.
Mhm.
And you know what? I think writing has a big part of that.
Yeah.
Like, it has a huge part because you can have the best CGI and all of that, but your story's bad.
Yeah.
For me, at least, I'm
Reminiscent.
uninterested. That's why I don't like the Fast and Furious movies. I know a bunch of people hate me for this, but that's why I don't like those. I don't like the Transformers movies for that same reason.
Yeah.
You know,
Because there's no story, and then as they go on, 10 movies in for the Fast franchise, the story is getting dumber and dumber until now it's just like you're just blowing stuff up and said, what else can we make a car do?
yeah.
Mhm.
So I honestly think they did a decent job with the story. Are there some weak points? Yeah, but I think I think it was pretty decent.
To me, the weak points isn't the story itself, it's the execution of the story.
Okay.
Like I felt like
Okay.
there was some action scenes, some fights or something that we
Yeah.
didn't get that maybe we should have.
My biggest gripe with the story is the end of the third act.
Mm-hmm.
And when we get into spoilers,
Mhm.
but it's like there was a problem that came up, and then the solution happened immediately afterwards.
Yes.
And I was like,
Exactly.
okay.
And I felt like, to me, just there was a lot of stuff like that that kind of just holds the movie back, which
Yeah.
is like, this is your time to shine.
Yeah.
And they-
Because I thought it was a really interesting take that happened right there.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I kind of foresaw some of it because I watched a lot of Flash TV show and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
I got that same vibe.
I kind of got that vibe, but still, I still thought it was like, oh, well, this is interesting, and then it kind of just ended. you know,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
Yeah. So I thought that was some good things, I guess. just-
Batman.
Obviously.
yeah.
I wasn't gonna mention that, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
Batman's it's great in this
I was gonna
movie.
say I actually like Supergirl in here, and I thought we should have gotten some more of her.
I did. Like
I did
Supergirl.
want more of her.
Yeah.
And I was kind of skeptical about it before. Because I was just like, wow, they decided to go with Supergirl instead of Superman.
Well, they kind of had to,
They
right?
had
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. But yeah, I wish, because I can't get the actor's name correctly, but
Sasha Cali, or what is she Spanish?
Kaye.
Kaye. Yeah.
okay.
Street?
Yes. Well, like, come on, like, there's not people with the last name
Right.
Street.
There's people with the last
Okay.
name Street.
All right, my bad.
I thought she did really well, and I felt like she should have been used more.
Yeah, I thought so. And then, I mean, like, her one action
If they're going to do a
scene,
Supergirl, I mean, you can still use her.
is that even in the plans?
I think so. I think it's a TV show, and they're probably definitely not using her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, when they got her out of the prison, like, that one, again, more heavy CGI that looked bad.
That did
Could have been
bad.
done better.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
then I was expecting another good fight with her, and we didn't get it. It was a lot of standing and talking. And I'm like, don't we got two superpower people here? I
Yeah.
need more punching.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, she did play it well.
Mhm.
Again, an interesting take, especially, and I thought it would go differently because Supergirl is a lot different than Superman.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
in the comic,
Mhm.
the Flash is like, oh, I know Kal-El's just good at heart, it doesn't matter. And he does in the end come and help. Supergirl, while I would say she is a good person, she's not as
Friendly?
Yeah, she's not as
Yeah.
friendly,
And she's not as
Superman.
sympathetic to humans
Yeah.
either,
Okay.
because of she was raised differently, and
She wasn't a baby either.
right. She was technically older
Mm-hmm.
than Superman, but since Superman came to Earth before she did, he grew up. So when she came along, he's now older than her, but it's like she doesn't view him as that. And she came to Earth as an adult and not a baby being raised by humans.
So that's interesting because I feel like in our shows and stuff that we have been getting, she's always like the super nice one.
Oh.
Is that not how, right?
Yeah. Well, I would say like,
Well, in the comics,
depending on like the comic book art, because of course they with DC and Marvel they always reset and change.
No, DC more often than Marvel.
They did make her nicer like in the 90s and
Okay.
took away from like her.
Isn't that when we got our
supposedly-
mullet Superman?
There was a mullet?
Mullet?
That was in the 80s. What?
No, man, that was in the 90s. Death for Superman.
Yeah.
And he came back with a mullet.
Yeah.
Wearing
yeah.
the black and white suit.
Yeah, he had a
and he
black
had a
and
gun.
white suit.
He had a
Yeah.
gun. Why would Superman have a gun?
Because it's 90s and everything was
Everything-
edgy in the 90s.
Everything had
That's
guns.
we had Cyborg Superman too.
You had Cyborg Superman. Yeah, you had the Superman with the glasses.
Yeah. The Eradicator.
Eradicator.
He looked kind of cool.
This is some absolute nonsense you guys just told me.
Hey, we grew up in the 90s.
Yeah. Everything's edgy.
Hey,
Everything's edgy.
everything edgy.
Yeah, I know, but
Venom
there's
was
something
created in the 90s.
I
Why
don't
do you
want to
think-
know.
Yeah.
And see, that was
Yeah.
knowledge. I
So
didn't
they
need to
made
have.
Supergirl friendlier.
Okay.
So,
All right.
but her original origin, she's more basically how they did Superman and Man of Steel. That's how
Yes.
Supergirl's supposed to be.
Ah, okay. Got it.
So, but yeah, I think she was pretty good.
Yeah.
I did like their explanation of time travel and how it affects the past and future. I thought
Right.
they did a decent job
That's
with that.
cool. I like how
Yeah.
they just said Endgame was wrong. or-
Yeah, they definitely was like, you may have heard it worked like this, clearly pointing out to Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah,
I'm like,
definitely.
okay.
Yeah.
But I feel like they gave a more concrete explanation than
Well,
than
yeah.
Marvel did there.
Yeah.
I mean, Marvel started off, but then they went back
Because they
this.
broke their own rule
Yeah, they broke their own
in
rule.
the same movie.
Yeah.
True.
Come on, Marvel.
Very true.
To me, this one actually makes more sense. There's still a paradox in it, which I'm like, this is why I don't like time travel.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as the movie goes, they didn't break their own rule, and it still makes sense.
Yeah.
Quote unquote,
Quote.
as much as time travel can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Barry's motivations made sense. I like how they played that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
his motivations, the dynamic between the two Barrys, I thought was done well.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, yes, because I thought they were going to screw that up.
Yeah, I mean, to me, as a person who finds this take on the Flash annoying,
Ezra Miller's take.
yes,
Oh, and let's put a little disclaimer. We understand what Ezra Miller has been doing in
Yeah.
real life. Of course, we don't stand behind any of that, but we are watching this DC movie, and we're not factoring that into our
I'm not.
thoughts on the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Now whether or not that influenced how much I like this character, I can't say. But I do not like his take on the Flash.
No.
And Second Barry to me was just a more annoying version of the character I already didn't like.
Basically, yeah.
Yes.
So that was kind of hard to get through because I just like, this guy's annoying. But I thought he did well. I just found it annoying.
That's what I was saying. I think Ezra Miller played the part that they have for the Flash. He played that well. Like, we established him in the Justice League, right? In the character that he is. And he played that well. Do I think that is a good representation of Barry Allen?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah, I
But,
don't. I even went so far, you know how I feel about this. I looked up a Flash comic book to figure out what this Barry Allen character was supposed to be like. Because I was just like, this cannot be right.
Right.
Mhm.
It just, I was like, no, this is not. But that's DC though. They get their characters wrong.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
What about Batman? I mean, look, Okay, so we talked about positive parts being Batman,
Yeah.
awesome, all iterations of Batman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was great. I thought it was like the scenes with Batman was pretty cool because he's just always just like basically the I'm Batman, right? I'm gonna roll up into this place, I'm gonna
Yeah.
beat some people up, and
Mhm.
it's gonna be cool. I did have some issues with just way too many callbacks, and to me they all didn't fit, and
Yeah.
like I could see them coming
Yeah.
a mile away,
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
and like we didn't need
Yeah.
it.
I feel like now with movies in general, since we having like all these nostalgic moments with movies,
Well, that's what you're trying to
I
play
feel
on.
like we don't need to play on every single detail.
Well, you
And
gotta,
I feel
you
like
gotta
we
do
can-
it right, right?
Well,
like,
yeah, if you're gonna give it to me, do it right. But then, like you said, like, did I need 5 of them?
Right.
right. Or I'll go with was was this the latest nostalgic filled movie, No Way Home, with all the old
Mhm.
characters coming
Mhm.
back?
Yeah.
It's like you gotta insert it right, like Dr. Octopus saying "Hello, Peter." Like
Yeah.
at least it fit in.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't a forced line. Now I'm something of a scientist myself. Definitely was forced in there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know,
It's like, I give it. Endgame. When Captain America finally said Avengers Assemble, right?
Oh, yeah,
We
yeah.
have
Dude,
been waiting for that
yes.
for 10 years.
Yes.
And
But
even though
that-
I saw it coming,
but that was
was-
the most iconic
it was-
moment
it
though.
was the moment you were waiting for, and it was done at the perfect time.
Yes.
And it landed perfectly.
And with the score, come on. You
Yeah.
can't
Like, but
'cause you just-
like if he would have said it in the first
Goosebumps.
Avengers movie, you'd have been like, oh, he said the thing.
Yeah.
But since we
It
haven't
wouldn't
heard
have-
him say
It
it,
Yeah.
wouldn't have been the same.
Yeah.
So like here, it's just like I get it. Everyone, hey, I am Batman, right? I'm Batman. It's like it's cool, but it just doesn't. It doesn't fit. And
Yeah.
like you're forcing these things into this
or
movie.
you want to get nuts.
Let's get nuts.
Let's
And that
get
didn't even
nuts.
make any sense.
It didn't.
It didn't make sense.
Because one, like the scene where he says that in Batman, like that's a completely different kind of scene.
Right, different scene.
Just it didn't make any sense. And then I saw the "How much do you weigh" coming from a mile away. When they're on the elevator.
Yeah.
Although that the tape measure did catch me off guard. I was like, wait. But yeah, we'll talk on that. All right, so yeah, I mean, but in general, if we're going to talk without spoilers, I would say if you're someone that enjoys superhero movies, go ahead and watch it. You know, it's not a bad watch.
It's not a complete waste of time. Don't waste your time on that after credit scene though. You
Yeah,
can skip it.
we're gonna talk
Yeah.
about the.
And you had to wait to the
cutscenes.
very end. too.
Very end too.
Skip it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All it does is tell us like a certain thing about the future of the DC universe, but
It's not needed.
we'll get to it. It's not that important. All right. So at this point, we'll talk about spoilers for the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So if you haven't seen it, you might want to dip out, come back after you've seen the movie, and we'll get into that. So I'll start with the beginning of the movie. Okay, this is this baby saving scene.
We could have cut the whole beginning of the movie out.
Oh, goodness
Yep.
gracious.
We didn't need it at all.
It was, to be
It was too
honest,
long.
that was the
Too
worst
long.
scene of the movie.
It
Yeah,
was.
and it lasted forever.
And I know y'all haven't seen Naked Gun,
no.
but it's a similar scene to that where these babies are falling like down the stairs. And you know, Naked
He's falling
Gun,
down the stairs.
well, because like Naked Gun is like a parody to like spy movies at
right.
that time.
Yeah.
So it was meant to be stupid and funny.
But yeah, when you're doing
it
a
was
parody,
fake
like,
babies.
Austin
And
Powers, I expect
when
to be
I seen this in Flash, that's what I thought of. I was just like,
yeah.
this doesn't no.
Yeah, the scene was just
Yeah.
absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
It
I didn't
lasted
get
too long. And
Mhm.
I'm like, all of those babies are now mentally disabled. Just
yeah, I was
their
like,
brain
they're
damaged.
they're dead. They
And
didn't
then
fall that far, right?
The fact that he put a baby in a microwave,
Yeah, I'm like,
I'm like,
why did y'all have to do that?
And then he literally said, there is a baby shower, and I wanted to shoot the screen. Just, who
But-
wrote that?
But then they
and
said, and
why?
then we saw it coming because it's she's in there and there's a bunch of babies, and I'm like, y'all not going really okay.
Exactly, right? Like, I saw that come. one nurse in there with like 8 babies. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, so now he got to save all these kids. Just the whole beginning of the movie.
It wasn't pointless. I guess it showed that, you know, you don't want to really to move people at super speed.
Is that what? That wasn't a point of it, right? Wasn't the whole point of it that he was just kind of like the butt of the Justice League?
I guess. But also why though? The Flash actually would be pretty
Well,
good.
I mean, it's not the whole thing because he was complaining like
Aquaman is supposed to be the butt of the Justice League.
But
True.
in this movie, he was complaining because he's like he's.
What would
the one
Aquaman
that
have
always-
done in this situation?
But that's true though. But in this iteration of the Justice League, Flash is the butt of jokes with this group and not Aquaman.
Well, anyhow, the CGI for this was horrible. The premise was dumb. The scene was too long, and I'm like, starting the movie off that way, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be horrible.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's like they wanted to
Yep,
start
I
off
thought
with
the same way.
an action scene, but then you gave us like the worst action scene because even the stuff with Batman in it, again, your bad CGI was just distracting.
Yeah.
I can't focus on Batman being Batman.
That suit was ugly.
Well,
Also-
the Ben Affleck suits have always been ugly.
Yeah. So yeah, just not a great scene, but it just wasn't really important because we had unnecessary cameo and unnecessary slow motion being unnecessary.
Yeah. So yeah, we got cameos I didn't expect. So you got Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot. Wonder Woman was in it. Alfred's in it. There's another cameo that popped up. I don't remember.
We're not talking about at the end.
Maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
And then okay, so with Wonder Woman, I want to mention this. Is there a different gag you can do with Wonder Woman besides her putting her lasso on someone and then they start saying something embarrassing? You did it in the Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah.
You did it in Wonder Woman 2. You did it in Justice League. You did it apparently in, I didn't see the latest Shazam
She did it in that
movie.
too.
Apparently
Okay.
she was in it and she did it there. And she did it here.
Here, my thing. These cameos are unnecessary. You know, it's just if she's not gonna do anything relevant, then I don't need her to show up in this movie.
Yeah, you already said like, oh, we contacted her, she can't come, and that's enough. It's like, okay, Wonder
because
Woman's
if
not
she
coming.
doesn't add anything to the story, then
Right.
why are we having all of these cameos?
Yeah.
Agreed.
I don't like. I mean, not to say like I don't like her. I like her as Wonder Woman a lot, actually. But I was just, why? And like you said, to do the same joke you already did 1,000 times, and this one wasn't funny because Batman's like, my ego's too big to say thank you. We already know that.
Yeah.
That's not a super secret. It's not embarrassing at all.
And then does the lasso make you talk or just make you tell the truth?
Exactly. It's like
Because it's like they couldn't stop talking with it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, that's not how it goes, right? She compels you to tell the truth, but she didn't ask you no question while we
Right.
talking.
So there's nothing for you to say.
Yeah.
the initial "my ego's too big" might have been it because like you
Yeah.
didn't notice.
Which
And
then at that point, I didn't even see anything wrong with it, lasso or no lasso. I'm like, yeah, Batman would say something like that.
yeah,
So yeah, whatever.
yeah. So not needed. But okay. And then we get to the better parts of the movie because like you said, they could cut this her whole first part off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, did nothing for the movie. We could have
No.
started with Iris talking to Barry about his father.
I think we added it just to simply have Batman in this movie. Because if you cut that scene out, there's no Batman.
But you get Batman in the past or in the new world, new timeline.
Yeah, but I guess they wanted present Batman. They could have did that differently. But
They could have did that differently.
Yeah.
But no, you
A
had the
whole
whole
nother different
conversation, and I thought was a good scene. Barry's conversation with Bruce.
But
Where
you got Bruce and not Batman.
Man,
We all know he's Batman though.
That's not the point. They wanted a Batman scene.
Okay.
okay. Well, okay. So Barry's father is up for an appeal to get out of prison, and the only alibi he has is that he was at the store when his mom died.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, his dad doesn't look up. Can we still figure out a way to see if that's him?
So I had questions about this. So even though his face isn't seen on the camera, That's not the only camera in the store. There are no camera shows. What when he's at
Yeah.
the register? He
When
has
he
a
walked
receipt.
into the store, was he looking down? Like,
Right.
yeah.
Like when you walk in the store, that camera should be looking at everyone's face, unless he's
Or maybe that's the
deliberately-
only footage they could recover. Hey,
That's
I'm
possible.
I'm just throwing stuff out there, you know.
Okay. And then, I mean, he would have a receipt that he bought the tomatoes. Even if he paid in cash, he got the receipt.
Maybe he threw it away on the way out of the store.
Who does that?
Me.
You throw your receipt immediately when you walk out?
What I don't need a receipt?
Depending on what I pay for, yeah.
I keep my receipts.
Yeah, well, people don't.
How often do you return things though?
Especially if
All
you're
the
buying
time.
a can of tomatoes. I'm not keeping that receipt.
Yeah, I'm not
I
keeping that
keep
receipt.
my grocery receipts.
For
'Cause
what?
you don't
What
never
are you
know.
doing? You filing your taxes with it?
If I can get a write-off on that, I absolutely.
You're not.
You're
You
not.
know. Look
You
at
a chef?
charity.
You're not.
Or are you a chef?
I can declare myself. Do I cook every day?
Yeah, I do not keep my grocery receipts.
So you immediately throw them away.
Yes.
Yes.
He wouldn't have had that in his pocket when he went and found his wife.
Anyway, he paid with a debit card. It would have the time of the transaction.
Well, I was
where
saying
it was
even
bought.
if he paid in cash, but you
Yeah.
guys are saying you throw your receipts away 10 seconds after you walk out the store, which is just mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, for groceries?
I only keep like receipts if I bought like a computer or something.
Yeah.
Like
I keep my grocery receipts for a few days because you don't never know when I gotta walk
Yeah,
back up
I
in
think
that
I keep
store.
my receipts longest
how
for like
often
if I
do you
bought
return
clothes.
groceries?
If it needs to be returned,
Okay.
you don't never know. Get you some stale cereal or something. I'm taking that back.
I just count it as a loss and just move on.
All right. Anyhow, so the appeal fails and his father is staying in prison.
Mhm.
So, I mean, this is the catalyst for everything. For one, Barry found out that he can reverse time because when did he do it? Oh, he just then, right after his father lost his appeal, he started running, and then he realized he had ran back to that morning.
Mhm.
And so this is why he's talking to Bruce. And I thought that this was a really good scene because Bruce is like, you know, I know you can, but we can't like change the past.
Exactly.
You
He's
know.
saying that it will have too many. I don't know what word I'm thinking of. It would have,
Consequences.
too many consequences for the present and the future if you do this. And he's
Yeah.
saying like, if there's one person who understands how you're feeling, it's Bruce.
Yeah.
And he's like, I would absolutely love to change the chance for that,
Yeah.
but he's just like, the risk is too high.
It
Yeah.
is, especially if you're talking like years.
Yeah.
You
And-
changing. This isn't him going back a day and changing something. You
Yeah.
know, like you
We're
like
going
there's
back-
so much that's going to be different.
Yeah, we're going
Yeah.
back like 15 years.
And you don't know like how it affects other people.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Your mom lives.
Especially
so what if it
going
means
back-
someone else dies now?
Right. Your
Yeah.
mom lives, your dad's not in prison. That changes a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because now it's like they could start establishing friendships or interact with people that they didn't interact with because
Mhm.
one, his mother is dead.
Yeah.
So from that point on, her interactions with anyone
Yeah.
changes
everything.
everything.
Yeah, everyone she's known, that changes their life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the same with the father. Like he's not in prison. They still living their life. So every interaction he has with someone from that point
Yeah.
changes.
Yeah, and then the other things Bruce was telling him too about how like you need to move on, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Hey, the fact that I couldn't move on is what left me alone. Like, yes, I became Batman, but I also became alone, which is Batman's whole thing." And this is where one of my issues with this movie at the end is that Bruce told you all of these things, you go
Yep.
through all of these things, and yet you still do something very stupid.
Yes.
But we'll get to that at the end.
Yeah. So he figures that out he can change. What makes him? I forget. Was it the lost appeal? Is what made him
Mm-hmm.
actually go through with it, or it was something else? It was something else.
He lost the appeal.
He lost the
talked to
appeal.
Iris.
He talked to Iris.
Because Iris came to his house.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was that just it? Maybe. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
not important. Whatever. He
Yeah,
decided
there
to
were.
do.
I thought it was a good reason for because eventually he at first aligned himself with Bruce that like he couldn't do that.
Right. Then he talked to Iris. I think it was after he talked to Iris, wasn't it? I don't think it matters why he decided to do it.
Yeah, but he does. So he goes back in the past, and the one thing was that his father wasn't home because he needed canned tomatoes. Oh, that was it. Because he's like, I'm not changing a lot. I'm just, which you still are changing a lot.
Yeah.
All he did was make sure his mom got enough
Right,
tomatoes.
she didn't forget the tomatoes.
Yeah.
But that's changing a lot because she's not dead now.
Yeah.
Yes.
How is that not a lot?
That is a lot.
That's a person reasoning with themselves just so they can do what they really want to.
Exactly. Which, okay, initially, I get that, right? You want your mom back. She doesn't forget the tomatoes. She never dies because your dad doesn't go to the store.
Yeah.
Cool.
Which, okay, so it works. And so he's going back to the future. And he gets knocked out of the Speed Force by another speedy person.
Speed monster thing.
Speed monster thing. Now, I kind of had an idea of what this was because to me it looked like Savitar from the
CW show. Yeah.
Which doesn't look like Savitar in the comics, but whatever.
Right.
But it looked similar to Savitar in the CW show, and Savitar was Barry
Yes.
in the CW.
So you're saying is I would have figured it out sooner if I would
You
watched this
probably
show.
would, knowing you, especially
Yeah.
since you knew James Bond had a baby from the
Look,
intro.
I figured it out, but not at that moment.
Yeah, whatever.
But yeah, if you would have watched the CW show, yes.
Yeah,
you
I
would've
figured it out, but not at that moment. I was thinking, I was still thinking the Reverse Flash was going to show up in this
Well,
movie.
I wouldn't say I completely figured it out, but I was like, man, that looks kind of like Savitar. So it wasn't as much a surprise to me.
Mm-hmm.
I was still thinking maybe Reverse Flash would show up in this, but they didn't do that.
Right.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that. So he's knocked out, and so he's early. This is back when he's 18, just before he got his powers. This is why there are two Barrys and everything. And this is where we get the interaction between the two Barrys. Yeah, younger Barry is like, we thought Barry was annoying. This guy, I'm like, God, this is goodness gracious. I enjoyed the line where he was like, oh, you just don't stop talking. He was like, oh my God, I'm starting to understand what everybody, I'm like, yeah. Maybe you need to interact with yourself.
Yeah.
Please change.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he was just extra.
He was real extra for no reason whatsoever. Yeah. And I wonder if they did that because this Barry is supposed to be more confident. Because, he was like, oh, hey, I have a date, and our Barry, like, never been on a date, is super weird or whatever. But this one's getting ready to date Iris or whatever. So I wonder if, maybe that's why.
Maybe. I don't know.
But, yeah.
Horrible. God, he was horrible. But, again, while I disliked his character, I didn't dislike the dynamic between them. I thought that was good.
Yeah.
The dynamic between the two Barrys.
Yeah.
So the idea is Barry's like, okay, well, we need to have you get your powers.
He needed to get the powers because if he doesn't get the powers, then Barry will never have it in the future.
Yeah.
Which is actually false because Barry's from outside of this timeline. But we'll get to that
because
in the end.
Bruce doesn't explain it to him yet.
Yeah. So yeah, Barry would have kept his powers, as noted at the end of the movie when he didn't die. But because I guess Barry was, they even explained that Barry was thinking this worked like Back to the Future the entire time.
Yeah.
So he needed his younger self to get his powers to make sure he still got his powers.
Yes.
So he takes him to the police station and gets struck by lightning. But it strikes both of them, and now Barry loses his power. Our Barry loses his powers, and the new one gains it.
Yes.
Barry had enough time to move out the way.
He did. Especially since he's super fast.
Yes.
Yes.
He is definitely, if you can run back in time, you're faster than lightning.
Yes, you are.
I know lightning's fast, but
you didn't have to be standing there.
He did.
Oh, so ridiculous. Okay. Anyways, besides that.
Plot hole.
It's whatever. You needed it to happen.
Did we though?
For their story, they needed it to happen.
Because we needed him to go to Batman.
Yeah, you needed him to go to Batman, plus you needed this pseudo origin story for Flash.
And you needed because that happened in Flashpoint. So, yes, you got to make it happen again.
Yeah, because you needed him to get his powers back.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. All right. So he tries to find people. No one exists. Aquaman doesn't exist. Wonder Woman probably exists, but...
Right.
She's not
you know, she's
There.
probably still on the mascara or
Uh-huh.
whatever.
Mhm.
Cyborg never. I don't know why he looked for Cyborg. He became Cyborg in the Justice League. This was
Yeah.
well before Cyborg would
Yeah, like
have
Cyborg
existed.
is
Yeah.
still playing football. That
Yeah.
was dumb. But I guess he was only looking for people he actually knew.
New.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got that. So all he can find is Batman. So he goes to find that, and that's where we get Michael Keaton, our Batman, and this is where we get an interesting explanation of time travel,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought was pretty cool. So basically, it's not that it branches off from the point you changed. Basically, makes a whole new timeline to fit what you changed.
Right. So you got a new past and a new future.
Yeah.
Future present. Yeah.
So Barry not only butterfly effect changed the future, but also the past.
Yeah.
Given so Bruce Wayne was born earlier, making him older now.
Right.
Mhm.
Of course his parents still died. This is not exactly the 1989 Batman. I think it is though. I mean, like, I don't think it's the one from the movies, but I think it's probably like a parallel.
I think this. Oh, why wouldn't it be? It could be the one from the movies.
It could be. It could be.
Yeah.
We have
Yeah.
the laughing Joker bag. in
Yeah.
there.
It could be
Yeah.
the one from the movies.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then like they gave other examples about like Back to the Future, the original actor
Eric Schultz.
Eric Schultz,
Yeah.
who shot scenes for Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Mhm.
In
yeah.
this timeline, he actually
Yeah,
was
if you
in
don't
the
know
movie.
the story,
He was
he
in the
actually
movie.
shot a pretty good portion of the movie.
Yeah.
They decided we don't like him and replaced him
Replaced
with
him with-
Michael J. Fox
Yeah.
as they were shooting the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I watched the making of for that. It was actually pretty interesting. But yeah, so that's why everyone was like, no, that guy is Marty McFly. And he's like, no, he's not.
Yeah.
But he was the original actor.
Yeah. And it's so funny because it's like if I didn't watch the making of the
Mhm.
show, I would not have understood.
Right, because they
that
said it a
scene.
lot as if it's public knowledge that that's what
Yeah.
happened.
And I'm just like, a lot of people younger than us
It's not gonna
do
know
not know that.
Well, dude, I watched that making of like a year ago. I would have known that.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a Back to the Future fan.
I can only watch the first one.
I've only seen the first
I
one.
do not like the other ones. Like
Mm.
I never finished the other
No,
ones.
I've only seen the first one. And I don't think I've ever watched it all the way through.
So,
first one was pretty
but I'm like, this makes time travel even more dangerous then,
Yeah.
Yes.
because you don't know what you're creating. But also, I thought it was interesting, because Zod shows up. Yeah, I mean, I'm skipping ahead a little bit.
That's
but,
fine. Nothing important happens.
Yeah, Zod shows up, and basically, yeah,
There's no
you
one
don't
there
have
to-
a Superman.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Zod just wins,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? And I'm like, yo, you really messed up. So basically, your mom dies anyway because she's gonna die here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Zod is going to destroy the world.
Right. And there's no one to stop them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So of course they need to find Superman, which is why we get Supergirl in this movie. Because so here she's the one that lands on Earth because Kal-El's ship was intercepted before
Yes.
it comes to the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's the one captured in Russia, and she was tortured, I guess. You know, well, the same thing that happened in the Flashpoint comic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Except for now it's Supergirl and not Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they go there to break her out. I think the Batsuit looks awesome.
Yeah.
It looks great. It looks better
Yeah.
than the Ben Affleck
Yeah,
Batman.
no, I
Mhm.
thought it looked good. I like those scenes for them, like when they were in Rush and stuff. I liked it a lot. I liked all the stuff that Batman was doing. I just thought the scene when Supergirl comes and she's fighting the soldiers,
No, the CGI was bad on
the
that.
CGI was
Yes.
just so bad. And I just wonder if there was another way to do that scene. Like that scene could have been really cool, and it wasn't.
Yeah. The CGI was bad on that scene too.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, Supergirl decides not to help them because she's like, I
Yeah.
came here to,
Right.
find peace, and then they
Right.
they locked me up for like 20 years. So
Yeah, she's
Mhm.
like, I ain't got no love for these humans. So
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
she dips out until she sees the Kryptonians come and slaughter all the humans. So then she's like, okay, no, I guess I'll help you.
Yeah.
So at this point, Barry's last resort is to give himself powers again so he can fight Zod. I'm like, yeah, I don't know, that's not gonna go well.
Right, you're just fast.
He
He's
you could find a way, but I don't think Barry would have.
Yeah.
I mean, they did find a way to beat some of the other Kryptonians.
Okay, yeah, but Zod is different than.
That's
Yeah.
true. We're
Right.
gonna talk about Zod.
Yeah.
I mean, Zod can beat Superman. So
Yeah.
Well, that's because Superman's soft and Zod isn't.
That's true. If
yes,
you know, we always say this. If Superman will just like fight all out, I get why he doesn't when fighting people.
yeah,
But you were fighting another Kryptonian. If he was start at full strength,
no one can beat him. Yeah.
with that whole thing when I read the Doomsday story with the death of Superman, and it's like,
Yes.
if you had started fighting Doomsday at your full strength, then you would not have died.
He wouldn't have died.
Why wouldn't you fight? Doomsday is not a person.
He
It's
was
Superman.
trying. He was trying to figure out what was his purpose on why he was destroying everything.
Who cares?
I was like, he was killing people before Superman even came.
That's just so dumb. Like I don't. Okay, whatever.
Once I saw that the Junior Justice League was getting beaten and 2 people died, that would have been cue to me to go all out. There's no need for me to figure out who this dude is.
This isn't a person. You know what I mean? Like this thing is destroying people.
Like
Yeah.
you don't hold back against Darkseid, okay? Like
Exactly. Like
Right.
why are we playing these games?
yeah. So yeah, but I mean that is the last resort Barry has. Who else is here? You gotta do
Right.
something.
Mm-hmm.
Or well, he would have to get himself powers even if he's going to run back in time and re-kill his mother.
Right.
Which there's a theory that Barry is the one that killed his mother in this universe, at least.
Oh my god, I don't want to hear that. Listen.
So it fails like it did in the comics, and I'm like, oh god.
Yeah.
I was wondering if they were going to just do it immediately or they were going to have it fail at first.
They should have just did it immediately because it doesn't make any sense.
I'm like, okay, so it failed. So Supergirl takes him to get struck by lightning, and I'm like, now he's double dead. Thanks, Supergirl. But I think the Speed Force from the younger Barry kind of helped get the catalyst going or something.
Let's not. That's absolute. Those words were nonsense.
Well, yeah, no, because he touched him and then
Yeah.
So I think it was the last little bit that he needed.
Let's skip. Let's.
Oh, okay. What?
It's not real.
Well, okay, he gets his powers back. All right, so they're gonna go stop Zod. This is Act 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. So now they're fighting Zod and his minions, and they're losing.
Definitely losing.
Yeah.
Because one, I was like, I know you don't really have a choice, but Supergirl just woke up. I mean, and you about to send her to fight Zod?
Yeah.
Well,
She
what
has
you
no
gonna do?
chance.
Zod was already like making his plan, but even then, I felt like Supergirl. The first time they meet, and she's listening to this dude talk or whatever, and I'm like, punch this man in the face.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, she was trying to figure out what happened to her cousin. And again, yes, if you killed a person, you don't know what happened, so she did need to get the information.
Did she? He's already murdering people. She doesn't need to get that information.
She wants to know where her baby cousin
Yeah, she
is.
wants to know what happened to Kal-El.
Look, we need more punchy and less talky.
Okay,
Just-
yeah. If the police go in and shoot people,
This is
Then
not that
we don't-
situation.
she needs to know where her cousin is.
Yes,
Okay.
If she kills him, then she doesn't find out.
true.
What do you
And then
mean?
she
So
still-
her
and
purpose
then-
was to watch over her cousin.
Yeah, So then, right, she kills him. Now she's still looking for him.
Okay. At least the world survived.
All right, I mean, she could have.
But
She
she
punched
really
punchy
didn't care.
afterwards. Did that help? I don't think the waiting to punchy really made a difference here.
It could have
Nah,
because there was
it
just,
didn't.
well, I don't know, she was moving too slow. I'm like, girl, like what? My thing is when you get them down, don't stop.
Yeah.
It's because she did go in, like when
Right.
when she found out that he killed Clark. She went in.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't enough though.
It wasn't enough because she stopped, which gave him a chance to recover just enough to stab her.
True. And stabbed with Kryptonian metal, so I guess that makes a difference.
Yes.
I don't know why that makes a difference, because like I get that that's how you can stab her. You know,
Right.
otherwise it wouldn't go
But
through.
why would it make a difference?
But like when
Because
you take it out, she should still heal, right? She's in the Earth's sun.
that only works when it's Clark. That's the only person who can get his heart ripped in half and manage to heal and survive. Everyone else just dies.
She didn't have enough sunlight.
I'm just saying it
She was
only
in prison
works.
for a long time.
Please, it only works when they
Because
work.
like she heals fast because of the sun, not because she gets stabbed by earth metal or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
okay, fine. I also questioned why Younger Flash, when he got shot, why it took him so long to recover from that. I'm like, bruh.
I was wondering why it took him to cover from that scratch on his face. Besides the obvious, so you
Well,
could-
the Kryptonian metal, I guess, but still,
he
it
should
should've
still
healed.
heal. Like,
Yeah.
does he heal fast or not?
Yeah,
And then
but
also,
it could still leave a scar.
when Supergirl
Yeah.
was getting stabbed, what was OG Barry doing?
What was he doing?
Nothing.
he was-
Watching her get
Ah man, she got stabbed. So she dies and
Batman dies.
and Batman dies. First he kamikazes himself into the ship, which doesn't work because it has a shield.
Mm-hmm.
And then both Barrys go back in time. Now, okay, this is I don't disagree with, because again, I think the short periods of time don't really matter much.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Like if someone gets shot and then you go back in time that 2 seconds and then push them out of the way, like it's not as bad as you going back 20 years, because now there's a lot of stuff that's been established that
Right.
you have changed,
But
right?
at this point, like you said, like we're trying to change the outcome of a battle that decides whether or not this world survives.
Yeah,
Right.
So change it anyway.
Yeah, just change it anyway. This is different than you making your mother survive.
Yeah.
But even then,
Also, Flash, forget this battle and just run back in time.
Yeah.
yeah, run back into time when Zod first shows up.
No,
No.
go back and let your mother die. Oh, he's still trying to
He's
get his
still-
mother to live.
Yeah.
He hasn't come to that yet. So
Okay.
but my thing is, but Barry does realize like we can't win this fight.
Yeah, well, because they go back to try and change things,
It doesn't
and
work.
then Batman dies again, and Supergirl dies again. Now, after the second time, our Barry is like, okay, this is
Yeah.
not going to happen. But the young Barry won't let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Understandably, you
Mhm.
know, he won't let it go, so he keeps going back and back and back. While Barry just stays in the Speed Force.
This is where I feel like this last act of the movie really failed. Because, okay, you have younger Barry coming back, and he's coming back more beat up every time he comes back with
Mhm.
extra metal in him or whatever. And OG Barry is just standing there. And then, so I'm like, bruh, you need to actually stop him.
Yeah.
Every time he
Yeah.
does, you're just like, Barry, please, it wouldn't work. And I'm like, dude, you need to physically stop this man because he's going crazy trying to change something he cannot change.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because apparently
That's when I thought, like, okay, this dude is gonna be the Reverse Flash.
Yeah, so I'm like, well, I knew he was, at least at that point, it was 100% for sure to me that he was the person that knocked him out of the
Mhm.
Speed Force.
Yeah.
So, what was I going to say? Goodness, I forgot now.
But yeah, so basically we end up meeting the weird looking Flash guy that knocked him out of the Speed
Mhm.
Force originally. And basically it's like, I had to knock you out to guarantee that I stay curated.
So that's the paradox. So, because it's a chicken or the egg thing, like which came first. So you have, Barry gets knocked out, which, puts us in this whole situation. Although I
Mhm.
think he would have found out the world got destroyed by Zod, but anyway, he gets knocked out, which creates the younger Flash, putting us in the situation of him going back over and over and over again. But he was pushed out by the younger Flash. So which one came first, right?
Yeah.
Did Barry come out and create the younger Flash first, or did the younger Flash push him out first to create himself? Like, that's the paradox, is why I don't like
time travel?
I don't think that's important. For this movie, to me, I do not care whether or not Barry, to me, that's like not important for this movie.
Okay.
I did not think about that at all because to me, it's irrelevant.
It's irrelevant. It's just I don't like. It's the grandfather paradox.
Yeah, I just felt like that's irrelevant. What I would have liked to see was a battle between either one of those people.
Yes, I was going to talk about that.
Agreed.
That's that third act I was talking about.
Yeah.
That because up until now, everything's still going pretty well for me. I'm like, I'm still interested in the movie, and I'm like, okay, wow, so was younger Barry. So now we have to stop him. Obviously, he's still not giving up on this, and it's a fixed point, which is why he can't change it.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, all the multiverse movies have this. They had it in the Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one point that this will always
It
happen.
will
Happened.
always
Yeah,
happen.
and it was
Like it has to happen.
What was it else? Was it in? It was some Marvel thing. But they all have this. Loki, yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got these fixed points in time that
Mm-hmm.
just can't change.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, in a world where Barry's mother is alive, Batman and Supergirl will always die in that battle. Period. Like,
Zod always wins and the world gets destroyed.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, basically, I guess the fixed point is that Zod has to win that because
Yes.
there's no Superman. So
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Zod wins that fight.
Yeah.
no matter what.
Yeah. Because it was like with Loki, that's what they were saying. Like with Thanos, it was like he will always get the stones.
Yeah,
That's a fixed point.
That's why the Avengers going back in time was supposed to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, and like you said, we wanted a fight.
Right.
there.
I thought either he was going to fight to try to stop younger Barry. That doesn't happen. Like you said, he was just standing there doing nothing.
Yeah.
So then when the weird looking Barry thing comes out, I'm like, oh, okay, he's going to fight this guy. Nothing.
Yeah, it should have been a fight there.
Yeah.
I thought it would.
To be honest, because his point, they didn't give him a name. The Dark Flash, I think people were calling him. His point is to stop Barry from going back in time and allowing his mother to die, which is what undoes everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there should have been a fight over that. But as soon as he attacks Barry, young Barry jumps in front of it. Since they're from the same timeline, that actually does destroy the Dark Flash.
Himself, yeah.
It doesn't. Young Barry dying doesn't kill Barry because Barry exists from our normal timeline where his mother died.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So this allows Barry to go back in time, undo what he did. So now his mom will forget the tomatoes.
Yeah.
And still die. But
all right, before we get to what he changed, there was a bunch of cameos in this, which we should mention.
Oh, yeah. We're forgetting that him doing all this is starting to collapse the universes.
Multiverses are starting
something.
to collide and stuff.
Yeah.
He's destroying stuff. That always happens with time travel
Yeah.
shenanigans.
So, we see the Christopher Reeve Superman
CGI'd horribly.
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas
Superman for
Cage.
some
All right,
reason.
so Nicolas Cage was supposed to be Superman in an unreleased movie. He has a suit up test and everything that they have video of.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently he was supposed to be fighting a giant spider in the
Really?
movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who thought Nicolas Cage was a good choice for Superman?
I don't know. I'm glad we didn't get it because he does not look good as Superman.
No.
Yeah.
But this was the 90s.
It was in the 90s.
You notice he has long hair.
Everything is dark and gritty.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what we're gonna get. Yeah, so we got that. We got the Adam West Batman. We got the 50s TV show Superman.
Yeah.
We got the old Flash, the one with the helmet.
With the hat?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Was there another Batman in there?
No, I thought we were gonna get some more, but I don't think there were. There was just the Adam West.
Okay, all right. A lot of Supermans and Batmans. I'm like, you think you would see more Flashes for the last movie?
Well, there was only. Well, yeah, we didn't get a scene from. Did we get a scene from the 90s? We did get a scene from the 90s Flash.
Did we?
I thought we did.
I think so.
Oh, you know what? I think we did. I think
Yeah.
we did.
I remember that show.
God,
I remember the show like
Mark
I remember
Hamill was in that show.
He was?
He was.
Yeah. Oddly enough, playing
Captain Cold.
no
Okay, that's all.
the Trickster,
Oh, he plays the
which
trickster.
is a knockoff Joker.
But he also plays the tricks. No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does. In the CW, he played the Trickster.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, because also his son.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
okay.
they brought him back. It was a
him back.
cameo for the CW.
Oh, Yeah. And I was like, he sounds like the Joker.
Yeah,
but
because
yeah.
he's the Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
but
remember
guess
anything about the Flash.
I guess they
show.
were just bringing their DC
Mhm.
properties, which I guess they've only done Superman and Batman. So,
Ye-
what else
yeah.
are you going to do?
Yeah.
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 Well, they could have threw in the original Wonder Woman.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
They could have thrown that in. I'm surprised they didn't do. You could have put the CW Flash there. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
was
could've.
expecting to see that.
Yeah,
They
Tom
didn't,
Welling.
which is very
Yeah.
weird. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you had Ezra Miller show up in the CW show
Yeah.
when the Flash was. I think during the Flash's Flashpoint,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
or was it Crisis? One of them.
One of them, Ezra Miller, is
showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they could have threw in the whole Arrowverse. That would have gave you more options.
Yeah.
Ah,
Where's
yeah.
our Green Arrow and
Yeah.
stuff? Yeah,
Yeah.
they could have done that,
Yeah.
but they didn't. But
Yeah.
okay.
Well, they
that's
said
where
they
I'm
didn't call
at.
anyone from the CW.
But I think this would have been your chance though.
Yeah, I would have definitely. It would have definitely put everything together.
I was kind of hoping because you know how in the Lego Batman movie how they reference even the human movies
Yeah.
Yeah.
that they would have threw in like Lego Batman.
Well, like in Across the Spider-Verse,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sony threw in
Yeah.
every Spider-Man property that they've ever had their
Yeah.
hands on into that movie.
Yeah. You
You
had
know?
the Lego Spider-Man.
It was like, why not? Right?
The comic book Spider-Man from like that you would read in the newspaper.
Yeah, you had. Oh yeah,
when he went
because it
to-
had that dot matrix.
when
printing.
he went to punch him, but he went straight through.
You had our parents, the '60s
Mhm.
Spider-Man cartoon
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
in there. You have all the live action Spider-Man, like all of
Yeah.
it. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they could have easily
Oddly,
did that with
it's
Flash.
it's odd that I'm saying this, but I don't think they did enough with that opportunity.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
mean, because if you're going to put in that type of nostalgia bait, then
put
go
it
all
on.
in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agree. I mean, better than having like some weird one-off Nicolas Cage thing
Yeah.
that no one knows about.
Yeah.
And again, this movie's
then you
not
couldn't
about
even-
Superman, so now it feels real weird.
Yeah.
If
I
you're not
mean, you
gonna throw
could even
everything in.
use the WB cartoons.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah.
That would have
you
been
could-
dope. Giving me the Superman animated series.
Yeah.
And you're right, there was a lot of Superman. Probably
Because
they
that's
did
all
that.
they have
do.
done.
All they do
That's
is
all they've
Superman and
done.
Batman.
That's all
Yeah.
they do.
So hopefully we don't. Well, we're getting James Gunn did say he was doing
Yeah.
Superman and Batman. So
Mm-hmm.
hey, you could have put Robert Pattinson Batman.
But they could have.
They could
Because
have.
they didn't use that or Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, they could
You
have.
didn't use how you okay.
Yeah.
Your best Batman property, right? Made you the most money. You didn't
Mhm.
put it in.
Yep.
Okay. Well. All right. So after all of this, that's the end of our act 3. So we get the ending of our movie. He allows his mom to die. He has actually a pretty good scene, I think, with his
That
mom.
was a good scene.
Although, again, why is he so weird?
Yeah.
Because if I was that woman, there's no way I'm comforting
not
this
ha-
man.
yeah.
He's a strange person, and I'm walking away immediately.
Yes, I'm not having a conversation with this dude.
Yeah, but it was a very nice scene, like a goodbye to his mom. I thought that was really good. He
Mhm.
puts the tomatoes back, but he moves the tomatoes that was needed to the top shelf, so his father actually looks up. Therefore, still changing something in the past. He
Yes.
allows his mom to die, but now his father can get out of prison on the appeal.
Mm-hmm.
Barry, you didn't think that was going to change anything? Because at the end of the movie, he's like, and everything's back to normal. I'm like, but no, okay. His father does stay into.
But
Okay,
he
I get his
still-
reasoning. No, I understand his reasoning now. Go ahead with your argument. I understand his
Okay,
reasoning. though.
so to me, this is my biggest nitpick with this movie because he's saying I'm only changing something in the future, right? His dad still spends the next 10, 15 years in prison, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
that's his reasoning.
But here's my problem with that. Bruce told you what happens when you change even
it changes
a
the past,
small
too.
thing.
It
Yeah.
changes the past.
He told you change a small thing, how it affects everything, Barry. You
Right.
cannot say to myself, well, this will get my father out of prison and not think that would not have a larger effect on everything else.
If
And
it wa-
then for him to do it immediately after your world destroying change. Like you did that, you destroyed an entire world. Universes are colliding, and 10 seconds later, you still changed the past.
He did.
Yeah.
And you're right. That was his reasoning. But you're also right in, like, if this was the branch timeline theory for time travel, I would think he'd be okay, because it's like, all right, I'm just changing from present day onward, right?
Right.
The appeal will show him on camera. He gets out of prison. Bada bing, bada
But
boom.
it's not really from present day only, because in the past his father still looks up. The only reason you don't see it is because the camera work was fuzzy.
Also, other people would have reached to the top shelf to get the cancer. You don't know how
Yeah,
that
so
affects it.
So yeah, and my problem is I don't see how immediately you don't, like, you did all of this and you forgot the lesson just that fast.
Yeah. Besides the fact that it creates a whole new timeline, so whatever else is in the past had to change.
Yeah.
As well.
Change.
Just like you literally fought two of yourselves, and you still changed something.
Yeah.
That's to me just.
So we learned that Bruce Wayne is now George Clooney instead of Ben Affleck because of this change. And what else has changed? We don't know.
Yeah.
You know. Which leads us into the after credit scene, which is just him talking to Aquaman. Basically, this whole scene, I think, is to establish that, although I don't think James Gunn is keeping this Aquaman.
No. DC is going to release the Aquaman movie and be done with it because it's already been in the works.
Yeah.
So
same with Blue Beetle.
So it kind of really doesn't
so just
mean
straight
anything.
to HBO all of this stuff.
Yeah, I was like, so it doesn't really mean anything.
They're trying to make as much money as they can.
At first, I was thinking that, like, oh, it means that, hey, we can keep certain actors, but other actors would change. Because he was like, Bruce Wayne was different in all these universes, but you were always the Aquaman, right? And it's like, okay, you know, that kind of establishes that, like, hey, some actors could be the same and some actors could be different. But I don't think they're doing that at all, so it's kind of pointless.
James Gunn is just completely starting over.
Yeah.
Like, everything is being scrapped, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, because it says starting with him, the actors that you will see on TV shows will also be in the movies.
Right.
Yeah, well, his TV shows is going to be HBO TV shows, though.
Yes.
Yeah, no more CW stuff.
Okay, well, it's pointless. That kind of makes the whole movie pointless, too.
Well, the movie's been pointless for a very long time now.
Yeah. It's a shame, I think.
I think so, too.
They could have done a lot with it.
Well, yeah, but, I mean, I get DC needed to do something, so if starting over is what they needed to do, then by all means.
Yeah.
All right.
And they already scrapped 2 movies that they lost millions of dollars.
Well, you're going to put out the movies you shot.
Yeah, that's
Blue Beetle is going to come out.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be... That's probably not going to be bad.
I don't think it's going to be bad. From the looks of it, it's just my take on it is just I feel like it's pointless, especially since Well,
that's fine though, because here's the thing: the movies don't have to connect.
They don't.
So,
but it creates this thing when you're like, but we're gonna give you this whole connecting universe. They don't. If you have like with the Robert Pattinson Batman, I know it doesn't connect now. I don't know. I'm still confused of why we're doing all these separate things. I don't need 2 different Batman movie streams.
Batman.
But I know it doesn't
Batman
connect.
Makes money.
If they make a second one, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'll go see this with no problem.
Yeah. And it's because it made so much money. So, like, this, like, they're not going to scrap it.
Yeah.
Well, when is a Batman movie not going to make money?
This is true.
I mean, we got Batman and Robin.
That movie made money.
It made money. It made more than the other ones,
right.
didn't it?
It may not have been a good movie, but it's like, and the thing about even after Batman and Robin, did we all not go see Batman Begins?
That's true. We were like, oh, a Batman movie? For sure. Right? We saw that. We saw Batman v Superman because Batman was in it. And then we saw the Robert Pattinson Batman because, well, hey, it's Batman.
I'm going to watch it.
So, yeah, Batman would always make money. Which is why that's the only movie they make, evidently. Yeah. But okay, I guess we can rate. Oh, or do you have any movie facts?
No, I do not.
Okay.
It's not
we gave our
doing
nitpicks.
Yeah. It's not doing good in the theaters.
I don't think it deserved that.
The last I checked, it was at 60.
Well,
people are making a lot of needless complaints, I think.
Yeah, that, and also I mean, there's a lot of reasons why not, but I think some of it also has to do with that, like we said, we went in with low expectations,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of people was like, honestly, if we weren't doing this podcast, I would not have seen this movie.
I wouldn't have either.
No, I wouldn't have gone seen it. So, oh well, see, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I would have waited until it showed up on HBO and then
well,
watched
I
it.
Yeah.
just feel like
Yeah.
this movie could have waited for HBO.
Yeah.
Like, I get, you gotta make your money. But even if HBO said, hey, pay me $15 for this movie, I'd have been like, okay.
Well, with that being said, if we kind of gave our thoughts on it, I would rate it a watch while folding close because that's exactly how I feel about it. I would have waited
definitely.
to,
Yeah.
To-
Watch what folding close.
yeah, yeah. But it's not bad. Again, a good 6 out of 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's if you don't see it, fine. If you do see it, fine.
Yeah, so that's our rating. Watch while folding close.
Yeah.
So yeah, with that being said, if you haven't seen the Flash movie, let us know. What do you think about the future of the DC universe? I don't know what they're calling
That's
it.
what it is, right? The DC, because the E's gone now, right? It's just
Yeah,
the DCU.
technically it was
DCU.
never there. We called it the
Well, we gotta give it something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
DCCU.
I think. What? Why is there two? That's definitely not it.
No,
Right.
Detective Comics Cinematic Universe.
Ah.
That's definitely not it.
All right.
No, it is DCU.
Okay.
But I get you got one with that one. Okay, I give you that.
All right, fine. But yes, let us know, of course, and stay tuned for the next movie we'll be looking at. Which,
The next movie, the next week we're doing Secret Invasion.
yes, Secret Invasion, because that comes out. Hopefully, it's good.
Yeah.
See what happens.
I've heard it is.
All
I
right,
did too.
I hope it's Marvel, because
Y'all need it.
yeah, although I think the last movie was fine, even though Devin doesn't, it's okay. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.